Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Sabbath School Nuggets. First, before we begin, I just want to take a moment to thank Seth for walking us through last week's lesson. It was amazing. It was a great study. Thank you. This week, we'll look at some of the Old Testament prophecies concerning Jesus. Now, our memory text for this week comes from John 5 and 36. But I have a greater witness than John's, for the works which the Father has given to me to finish, the very works that I do bear witness of me that the Father has sent me. In the book Ben-Hur had been imprisoned by the Romans for a crime he hadn't committed. He was being taken to a galley ship where he would be forced to row until he died. He was tired and thirsty and had dropped to the ground from exhaustion. He cried out, "God, help me." And at that moment, Jesus reached down to give Ben-Hur a drink. When the Roman soldiers in charge of this saw this happening, he yelled at Jesus to leave the man alone and raised his whip. Jesus turned, looked at the soldier who stood there immobilized as he looked at Jesus' face. He lowered his whip and turned away. The point the book and Sabbath lesson makes is that Jesus came into this world as one of us, and yet the world had no idea who he was. And yet there was something about Jesus that set him apart from every other person around him. John's mission is to show us and the entire world who Jesus really is. The question is, how do you go about proving that Jesus is in fact God? You see, John's not trying to persuade you to believe in some general notion about Jesus, notions such as he was a good man, a great teacher, or even a prophet of God. As Sunday's lesson points out, John wants you to believe specifically that Jesus is God in human flesh. Please don't miss this. You cannot call Jesus a good man, nor can you call him a wise rabbi or a great prophet or a great teacher. John does not give you permission to do that. John's claims about Jesus do not give us permission to downplay Jesus. Either Jesus is who he claimed to be, or he's a lunatic or a liar, but he's not just a good man. And the Jews should have known it. When they said to Jesus, "How long are you going to keep us guessing? If you are the Christ, tell us plainly." And I can almost see the look on Jesus' face as he basically says, "You're kidding, right? I've already told you. But if you don't believe what I say, then take a look at what I'm doing, because my works are proof of who my Father really is." Kind of like you and me today. The world can know who our Father is by the works we do in his name. But more about that this week. Well, thank you for stopping by. Have a look at your lesson. I'll see you tomorrow.